Witam Was na moim kanale Vintage Music Geek. Zapraszam Was na drugą część mojej rozmowy z Grahamem Bonnetem, a z niej dowiecie się m.in. co łączy Grahama z basistą zespołu Status Quo, czy według Grahama sztuczna inteligencja jest zagrożeniem dla prawdziwej twórczości, wymagające partie wokalne wykonywane na żywo po latach, co o tym myśli Graham i czy jest możliwe stworzenie wokalnej grupy złożonej z rockowych gigantów. Te i inne zagadnienia omówiliśmy z Grahamem w drugiej części naszej rozmowy. Oczywiście niezmiennie zapraszam Was do subskrybowania mojego kanału na YouTubie Vintage Music Geek. Znajdziecie tam mnóstwo ciekawostek i rozmów z legendami muzyki rockowej. Tymczasem zapraszam Was na drugą część mojej rozmowy z Grahamem Bonnetem. Miłego oglądania.
Party Boys, super group with mainly Alan Lancaster from Status Quo.
Yeah.
And you also participate in this band. I think it was short-lived, but
Yeah.
how do you recall this group, Party Boys?
Party Boys. Yeah. When my band split up here, when the Alcatrazz time, when that ended here, I went to Australia because my ex-wife is from Australia, and we were going like, well, what do I do now? Because I had no work in America, and I thought, what are we going to do? So she suggested going to Australia, where I'd had hit records as a solo artist, and I started, doing some solo stuff. And one day, I went to see the Party Boys play, and Alan Lancaster, who was my friend from Status Quo, we were managed by the same people in England, Status Quo, me and Rory Gallagher and Mickey Moody. And he said, how would you feel about joining the Party Boys, doing all this top 40 songs? I said, really? He said, yeah, we make a lot of money, And I said, well, all right then, but you've got to sing. I said, yeah, well, he's going. We want you to do this. So I did that for a little while, and it was very fruitful as far as money goes. I couldn't believe how much those guys got paid. And every gig we played in Australia was basically bars, but big bar. I guess you call it a club. But every place we played, the money was like what? It's unbelievable, just a lot of money. And Alan Lancaster said he lived in Australia at this time. He said to me, "So I've made more money out of doing this than I did with Status Quo." So he had a nice big house and da. And I can understand how he made a lot of money. But it was just a surprise to me that he never played with Status Quo. He'd much rather play with the Party Boys doing cover versions of top 40 songs. But it was fun to do. But they eventually got their old singer back. He came back in because he was owed money by them or something. Some political thing was going. So they told me about it and they said, well, blah, blah is coming back in to be our singer again. I'm sorry, Graham, but you're sort of fired, but not. So that was the end of that. I did that for about a year. Yeah, it was fun doing it.
For some time, recording shows like people sending files with their parts, for example, to artists doing album, and you sending him your vocal parts, last time that you remember that you were in studio with the musicians and you recorded in one place together, not sending. Do you remember such session last time when you did like that, not by sending?
Yeah, I think the last time I did that was in when I did an album called Line Up, which is my own thing, with John Lord and other people and Doug Cozy Powell. And that we're all in a studio together, but most of the stuff now is all done by mail, so to speak. I've got my part, you got your, send me your bit, send me your, can you send me the guitar part, blah, 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 all that. So it's all done it's done at home. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to book a studio. That's why studios are going out of, getting no work, because you don't need them anymore. It's all done on a computer. So you just put your part into the computer, send it off, and say, how's that? No, you better improve that bit. Okay, I'll do that. Whatever, So you never actually sometimes meet the band you're playing with. So, who are you? I'm in your band. Oh, are you?
So that's what you're saying.
It's a weird way to. I prefer sort of the old way. Yeah, it was more fun doing it the old way, but sometimes the old way turned into a big drinking session. I remember, which was okay. It was okay, but sometimes work didn't get done. It became more of a party, But doing it this way, you have to be clean and sober when you have to send your parts in by a certain time. So you have a deadline to meet, and it's sometimes a little bit better in that way. Come on, hey, we've done our bit. Where's your part? Quickly, or you don't get paid.
So anyway, as you said, that's how it looks like now. Even if you see the album and you see the credits, this guy is singing, this guy is playing guitar.
Yeah.
You think, okay, they cooperate together, but anyway, they even don't see each other, and they just sending their file. And the album,
you don't even know them. Who is it? That's why I've forgotten that song you're saying. I cannot remember who that was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, leave that for now.
You are big fan also of Beach Boys, Beatles, the singing in a harmony. What would you think about such project? I'm just thinking now about it. It just comes to my mind. Something like singing in a harmony, like, for example, the bands singing by like Temptations, Platters, Four Tops, but male vocal groups with hard rock singers. Do you see something like that? For example,
that'd be good. Yeah, I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat if other rock singers could do it. But I can tell you something. It's an unfortunate thing when people are singing so-called heavy metal, that their voices aren't so flexible as to do something as sometimes sweet and soft, and R&B voice is not there sometimes. And because heavy metal, heavy rock singers, a lot of them rely on that false sort of thing, and that, they don't have that other voice, the real voice. Yeah. So sometimes all the heavy metal singers have a fake voice that they create because their own voice isn't rock enough or something, and a lot of guys just can't do that. But of course there are singers who can do it, but they're very few and far between. And you'll find that I've found out now that a lot of the guys that have been so-called heavy rock singers can't do it anymore because of how they abuse their voices with all that doing all falsetto, whatever, and all that, and now they can't sing. So you can't do that. You got to be very careful because the human voice, very delicate, very hard instrument to play. Guitar's easy. This isn't. It really isn't, because you never know how your body's going to feel. So I mean, that'd be good if we could find a bunch of guys or girls, whatever, to do something like that. Would be fantastic. I'd love that.
Yeah, I think Ian Gillan comes to my mind because he also sang rock and roll songs some time ago, and he recorded.
Yeah.
So you, Ian Gillan, for example, I'm just thinking about other guys. Rod Stewart maybe would be.
Yeah. Well, he's one. Yeah, obviously. As you said, Rod Stewart's come back to doing what he used to do, basically, his old tunes, and that's where he comes out. He presents himself best. So he's got such an original voice, and he's somebody I met years ago. I know him, but I haven't seen him for probably 50 years. But he lives in LA, as you know, probably, and so. We at one point were managed by the same person as well, me and him, a long time ago, and the manager who was managing me and him and somebody else he managed, I can't remember who it was. They were usually me and Rod, and he went with Rod Stewart. He saw money there somehow, so I wasn't part of Rod's rise to fame. But this guy who was my manager too dropped me and took Rod to fame and fortune, which is okay by me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you receive such a proposition, offer, just do album like, for example, Temptation with hard rock singers, like with, for example, Ian Gillan, Rod Stewart, I don't know, Glenn Hughes. Would you ever accept such offer to do something like that?
Well, Glenn is one of those persons that's got that very R&B kind of feel to his voice, and he can do all that as well, the squeaky stuff. So it'd be fantastic. I would love that very much. Any offers? Just call me when you find a record label that would be interested in that.
An official album, Rainbow Rogers Birthday Party, that comes out last year. Have you heard it?
I think I have, yes. I remember that night. And announcing to the audience, it's Roger's birthday. He said, everybody sing happy birthday. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah. Good old Rog. He's old too now, It's so funny to think that we're the age we are. I never thought I would ever see this be doing this at my age, and all the other people I know that are still doing it when they're like 80 something. Wow, God, good for you, man. Because you can't give it up. Long live rock and roll and all that. Once it's there, it does live forever, And so I can't imagine anyone like Roger Glover or Richie or anybody actually saying, I've had enough of this, I can't see that happening. But Roger's birthday.
Some time ago, I talked with Dave Getz, who was the drummer with Janis Joplin. Yeah, he's now 86 he's now, and he's still active as a musician. And he said something like that: rock and roll is in the times that when they started, it was for the young people. Yeah, young people were doing. The oldest people were there. Chuck Berry was maybe the oldest one who was doing this kind of music. Nowadays, as you said, you are in more or less 80, and you are singing these songs. Yeah, we're singing this rock and roll, I can say. So some people say, "Oh, it's ridiculous. Why they sing it?" I don't think so, because you have it in your heart, and if you still can do it, then why not? Yeah. What's your opinion about it? Yeah, because they say always rock and roll is for young people, not for old one. Yeah, but because rock and roll, when it was still young, the people were young, the people who had done it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, it shows I have. We have sometimes a very young audience, like 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, whatever, and they say, "Well, how can you do this when you're so old?" So how is that voice still? Yeah, and they start crying, going, "I can't believe it." Believe me, I've had audiences, grown men, come and going, I can't believe your voice is amazing. How do you do that? How do you play this? How do you keep the energy up? I said, because without that, I'm not me. This is me. This is what I do. And now there are younger people, which is great. And they're going, you're the real thing, aren't you? They're not going, you're too fucking old for this. They're going, we'll see when you're coming to see us again, And when you go to an Iron Maiden concert, for instance, it's incredible the mixture of people, the age groups. It's not all 90-year-old guys with beards and fat bellies and whatever. No, I'm not being rude by any chance. You know what I mean? It's every age group, because now I think people are realizing that what they're listening to is fake. Everything we bloody hear on the radio, whatever, on TV, everywhere, it's fake. It's not real. That's not real. That's not a real voice. That's not real anything. The AI thing, it's just like taking over the whole freaking world. And when people see the real thing, they see the blood shoot out of your neck as you give it fuck. That's when they go, God, what is that? And not just me but I mean other singers and players who are still doing it and sound fucking great. Bruce, for instance, Bruce Dickinson, he gives it the bollocks. I mean, he really does. And it's great. I love it very much. You know, goodbye. But it's, you know, it's good to be the real thing. And when I hear that and I see a grown man cry, going, "My God, you're the real thing." What I do, I say to Bethany, I say, "I've got a crying guy here. Can you give him a hug?" So Bethany comes over and gets all the crying guys and hugs them. Because I can't believe they're so emotional after the show. And that gives me, it's such a great feeling to think that you can move people in that way, you know. You know, I know this is great for my ego, saying how fabulous I am, but it's just amazing that this happens. And I'm not making this up. I'm looking at these guys crying. I'm going, what's wrong? Are you all right? What's wrong? And I'm so, Bethany, I've got a crying man here. Oh, boy. Okay. Enough of me. Enough of me.
But as you said, artificial intelligence. Now it's, you also listen to some. I don't listen to radio. I listen to music from the vinyls or from the Spotify, and searching for the old music from 70s,
Yeah.
80s, maybe new from the you are doing or the other guy from this period. What is the future of this anyway for rock music? Do you see now young people or any young bands that? Because now I think it's repeating, because you cannot find wheel again, you cannot invent wheel again. Yeah? They are repeating, they are just won't invent anything new, and just inspiring by you, by Rainbow, by Deep Purple, by Led Zeppelin, etc., etc., etc. But do you see future for this hard rock? And
God,
and anyway, in the radio you can hear this great song, hard rock song, when it was used to be like Led Zeppelin, the radio, Queen. Now it's in the oldest radio, some kind, but not in the radio. There is some R&B, but soul, but not popish, very popish, and not very good produced song. I would say,
It's very strange. What is happening is I saw something on TV this morning. There's a young guy, nice looking young guy, probably about 18 or something like that, and he's put out this thing. This song comes on, and it's like you can hear it's fake, totally fake. So this is a manufactured, this kid is a manufactured object, like selling a pack of cornflakes or something with this fake voice, like Justin Bieber, baby, 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 all that stuff. What was Justin Bieber all about? I mean, if that's a real voice, I don't know, but everything is fake, and I can't listen to any of that stuff. It's just absolutely horrible. Fake this, fake guitar, fake drums, fake. Everything's just robotic and very upsetting and very scary. The whole world is just turning into, I don't know, just mechanized garbage. It's just the real. I don't know if it's going to turn around anytime soon. I don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to get worse, where every musician will be out of work, and they just press them? Oh well, we need it. Or will music completely die because of this? Real music, so to speak.
I think the music defend on the stage, you and the other, as you are real, as you say, real thing, because you sing in your life, you don't use any tape just to cheat people that you are singing. You are real. Sometimes you don't hit this note, but anyway, it's real. It's not something that someone coming out and then is just.
I know. Well, I mean, they're making movies now with people who have died, like years ago. They're now but they're making a movie with the actors that have died, saying new words in a new show, a new film, and it's like, Val Kilmer. That's one guy. They're using his image, and it's him. It's him, but it's not him. What the fuck? It's like, what is going on? We soon won't be needed at all on this planet. You know, we don't need to. Everybody will be out of work because, well, except for the people who create these creatures from the magical unknown. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll make a complete turnaround and everybody going, no, fuck this. Let's have the real thing. You know, I don't know. It is very frightening.
Yeah, there is still fans. There's still people who like this hard rock, heavy, this kind of stuff. Not maybe only hard, heavy,
Yeah.
etc. The real thing,
Yeah.
not this I created or the things that people just write in the program. Okay, create me a song with this note, and
Yeah.
give me this. Okay, and it is now. And he said, "Oh, it's my song. I created it, but not. It's not his song because some artificial intelligence created."
I know. It's become
terrible.
like a video game. Everything's like a big video game. It's horrible. Absolutely
Yeah.
horrible. And when I saw this kid this morning on TV, and then this voice comes out, this little squeaky voice that was obviously fake, but they're selling this kid to, you know, young girls, basically, you know, like Justin Bieber was, you know. It's horrible. Whatever. Anyway.
I know that you have long career and many stories that you can tell about some, you know, working with, for example, Rainbow with on your solo albums, like lineup and but any specific story that many anecdote from, for example, from recording session of Down to Earth, or
Down to Earth, not so much, but I just remember a story about Richie though. Before I joined the band, Richie was in the car coming back from a gig, and he ready to, you know, going to the hotel, and he said to the driver, "Could you just drive in?" And he goes, "What? Drive in?" Yeah. So he drove into the lobby with this bucket, smashed through the doors, whatever. And he gets out, Richie gets out, says, "Oh, thank you," shuts the door and goes up to the desk. "Room 25, thank you." And that was one thing that I heard. I wasn't in the band when that happened. But there's lots of things that did happen like that, I know. But Richie was, he took a lot of risks sometimes, you know. And I think before I came along, Cozy was doing the same kind of thing, similar kind of things. One day, Cozy, he was very fond of like climbing on the outside of buildings, hotels and things like that. He was Spider-Man. And but anyway, one day he got like on a rope thing, and he thought he was going into somebody's room, who was one of the band, and he smashed through the window, and he was in somebody else's room, and they freaked out because he thought he was playing a game on, you know, a mad game on one of the crew, but he got the wrong number, the wrong floor. So that's another thing that happened. But one thing I remember very well, and I'll never forget, was when we were recording, not in Rainbow, where I was recording with Cozy and John Lord and Mickey Moody as well. What were we doing? I think it was the lineup album.
Yeah.
And one morning, we used to go in pretty early. So it was about, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning or something. And John hadn't arrived. John Lord hadn't arrived yet. So I'm sitting in my little booth. There's a little booth over there where John was going to be. You know, those baffle boards, those things, those partitions, you know, they're like this thick or something, you know, so we don't hear each other's whatever. And I could hear this rattling. And as John's walking, and John comes in, he puts down this bag, and out come these bottles, 1, 2, all different drinks, lined up on top of the baffle boards. Da, da, da. And John Lord says, 10 o'clock in the morning, "Gentlemen, the bar is open." So you can imagine.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it worked very well that day. For some reason, we didn't fuck up. But 10 o'clock in the morning, this rattling kind of gave it away, this rattle of bottles. Oh, boy.
Which songs had you recorded that day when John, as you said, this
Oh.
song?
Geez, I don't know. We probably did the whole album, for as far as I know. I don't know.
Okay.
It was one of those like, what did we do? I think one of them might have been a song called SOS, I think, and another one was, oh, geez, what would it be? I think maybe Night Games was another one. It's hard to think because it was a happy day. Everybody was laughing and doing their bit. But as I said, I was surprised how well the recording came out. You know, seems everybody was a bit too happy sometimes, you know. But the playing, how can you fail with John, you know, and you know, Mickey Moody, etc., and Cozy Powell? It didn't matter how much they drank, they were still great.
What do you think about decision of David that he decided to retire? I know that it's his decision. Maybe he okay. My voice is not good enough to sing this song, so he retired.
That's what I'm saying. You know, you can't go around going, you're going to lose your voice, and that's a problem he had with, you know, with misusing it. It's hard to play the human voice. You know, you got to be very careful. You won't break any strings, but you'll break a lot of other things. So yes, he's lost it, and so it's a lot of other singers too. They're just retired because I can't do this anymore. I'm too old. No, you misuse your instruments. That's what you did, and a lot of people have done that. And you know, I've misused my instrument once in a while too. But you go, I can't do it, you know. But I tried not to do that now. I'm very, very, very careful how I sing and how to look after my voice. And it is difficult sometimes. Can't have too much fun.
Yeah. And anyway, you see yourself, for example, as BB King. Maybe playing, I don't know, when you will be older than now, play blues, R&B, and you know, change the way of singing and just play. Maybe it should be the way for example, for someone like David to play maybe blues songs, maybe little lighter songs, not this hard and heavy. Would you see yourself in the future to, you know, with the guitar and play some blues, R&B, soul songs?
Anything, fuck, you know, I mean, if the band thing, you know, came to an end or whatever, I would do that. Yeah, sure. I know that Francis Rossi's going out there doing a bit on his own, you know. I spoke to Francis a little while ago. I wanted Francis actually to come along to play the beginning of what was it? A song called Night Games, because that's Francis playing sitar at the beginning. It's like a Spanish beginning. I asked him if he wanted to come and play that when we came to England, you know. I spoke to him at the beginning of this year, but he's out doing like not a book tour, but just sort of acoustic and talking about the music and whatever. So, but I will be in touch with him again just to see if he would possibly come along and play on stage with us one night. Be nice. I love Status Quo. I really did.
Yeah,
great band.
They have great songs. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he has some funny titles. Down the Dust Pipe was one. Rolling down the west, and then for the Chicago, something, whatever it is. It was great. Now we're doing all right now, rolling down the dust pipe now. Yeah, it was good. It was great.
They have this specific style of singing, this boogie.
Yeah, and when I was going to see them play, because as I said, we're managed by the same people, they weren't loud. But everything was very, very clean and not distorted, you know, when they played. It was fantastic.